So I don't know what to talk about, and I don't know what to feature, maybe, articles and stuff and videos and whatnot. Therefore, we're going to go through a bunch of Reddit questions, and they're going to hopefully inspire me to talk about something, which is in the end going to be fine anyway, I know it. But yeah, there's going to be more after the intro, and I'll see you afterwards. And it is fortunately only 13:47, so a quarter before 2 p.m, which is pretty cool. Like, I enjoy that, because it's also really nice weather. Afterwards, I'm gonna work out and then ride my bike, probably for some cardio. And then I have to learn a little bit more maths again and just try to upload everything and make everything alright and whatnot. But I think I have not read as much of German words or language or whatever as I've done yesterday, today, and also yesterday, because of learning maths. Because I'm having an exam tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, and because I'm gonna have my my final exams in a bit. This is why there's actually a lot of things to do and a lot to learn. But everything is manageable really, 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 really nicely, I have to say. Like, I've had like 2 days, so today and yesterday, for learning fully, because I've been able to just record in the very early morning. So I got up relatively early so that I can just do everything that I want to do. And everything works out really, really amazingly fine. And it's not like, well, I'm not having time for this and that. No, motherfucker. Definitely not the fucking case. Like, everything is really fine. Like, incredibly fine, actually. It's insane. Well, yeah. Anyway, let's see. There's something that I've seen. No, it's not that one. Please go away. It is okay. So, music addiction. Inspired by the post about the birthday cake, I mailed a customer that left us a review. Oh, I think it's the wrong one, isn't it? Okay, so music addiction. Let's see. Okay, so I decided right now that I'm not going to listen to music for more than 1 hour a day. I found out when I listen to music too much, I feel like crap. So I'm going to try this for a week and see what happens, and I'll also journal it on my journal, because I saw a post on here about journaling and I thought that would be a great idea. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do it now. I think the problem lies with the type of music you're listening to. I think, I don't know what this is all about. When it is about type of music, then I also try to not just listen to anything that's negative, because I believe it's not good for me. And I've just talked to a colleague of mine, a really good one, shout out to you, and he said well, it's fucking amazing to listen to sad music because it is so intense and so emotional, and it goes under your skin and shit. And yes, definitely, I would say so. I really would, because I would also argue that we are perceiving negative emotions as way stronger than positive ones. Maybe. I kind of have a feeling. I don't know why, but I have a feeling. But I don't know. For some people, it might be okay, they don't care because they're naturally relatively positive and shit, and therefore it's just gonna be fine. Some other people that are more on the just depressive side, I don't know if it is a smart idea. And for the other people that do, I don't know, I think it is not such a good idea to just listen to negative music that much, at least at my point of view, just my opinion. On the flip side, I don't know if this is about the type of music. I don't know if this is about just being unhappy or feeling bad or feeling negative or just being negative or whatnot, or if it is just because of feeling of wasting time, which could also lead you to feeling bad because you wasted just such a lot of fucking time that you could have used for something more sensical, maybe. I don't know. The whole addiction thing is generally, or in general, really fucked up. It is so incredibly difficult, I would say. But it is doable, if we want to. If we want to, it is definitely doable. But if we don't, it's not. Just finished my first 8K. It was hard, but I did it. Congrats, Pat. Keeps those good vibes going. Well done. Such a great feeling each time you run a long distance than you ever have before. I find spending 8K quite easy, but if it is your first 8K, I suppose that it is a milestone. Well, this is a really unnecessary comment, to be honest. Yeah, okay, it is fine that you're just such a fucker, that you're able to just run 8 kilometers. Think about other people more than you think about yourself and what you would like to have. Just an idea that I got. But I think it is great. I hate running so much. So fucking much. It is insane. I don't like it. I just don't like running. I think it is just, I don't like it. But the problem is that it is so incredibly exhaustive. And this is why I like it just on the other hand, you know? And also by like just running more, you're gonna get better. And I've also noticed that because of the past Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days of me running, also in the rain and when it's been cold, like I feel good. My legs are fucked, but I feel good. But it is like, I don't know, you know, I just don't like it. And I always have to think like, should I just ride my bike? Because I love riding my bike. And I know that I'm gonna be able to just get further and drive for a longer distance and for a longer amount of time if I just take my bike. It's complicated and it's fucked up. PSA, you did not win a gift card. Okay, I don't give a fuck. And there's a quote by Fyodor, I think it is Fyodor Dostoevsky. Above all, don't lie to yourself. The man who lies to himself and listens to his own lies comes to a point that he cannot distinguish the truth within him or around him, and so loses our respect for himself and for others. And having no respect, he ceases to love, and so on. Questions about marketing for medical spa, I decided to cut and dye my hair today. You know what? I am willing to find about some Stoicism quotes. Stoicism. Let's see, by the way, what is happening if I just type in Stoicism. An ancient Greek school of philosophy founded at Athens, I don't know, by Zeno of Citium. I do, by the way, don't know the whole story. The philosophy of Stoicism. There's actually a TED talk or a TED. I might be linking it down, but I'm 100% gonna forget about it. So please look up TED ED, The Philosophy of Stoicism by Massimo Pigliucci, I guess. Oh, no, it's Pigliucci. I think it is, because there is no H. If there is an H, then it is something else. And there is also a Stanford Encyclopedia entry of that. It's a really long one. I mean, like, you could go through, and I gotta have to say, like, it is free from Stanford, free education from Stanford, and was published Monday 1996 and a revision 2018. I just want to say, and also I think the MIT is also having like free courses, and also Harvard is having like free courses. Well, yeah. Stoicism 101. But the Daily Stoic, which is run by Ryan Holiday, as far as I know at least. Stoic wisdom for everyday life. Let's see, maybe there is something cool to go through. Learn more about our Memento Mori medallion. You could live life right now. Memento Mori. Does this actually mean, Memento Mori, you could live life right now? Which I guess, and this is also something that I had to think about. Well, what do you think? There's two ways you can think about life. Either you think, okay, it's gonna be just the end really soon, and it could end every single moment. This is one thought pattern, I'd say. The other one is like, I know that I'm gonna live for 100,000 fucking years and everything is gonna be fine, and therefore I'm gonna just live for the long term. But if you're thinking like, well, it could just end every single second, then I have a feeling that it is more like a short-term game. You know, okay, it is fine that I'm gonna drink 2 bottles of wine today because I know that today might be the day I'm gonna die and I wanna enjoy my life. If this is like enjoy your life for you. And I think it is a strange thing, and it is also a very, very complicated thing, I would say, because what is the real deal right now? An ancient wisdom for everyday life. What is Stoicism I'm actually very sorry, Stoicism, a definition and 9 Stoics exercises to get you started. I do want to have a look at the exercises. You know, I don't like, yeah, okay, there's been some old people. Practice misfortune. And there's actually quotes, and I'm going to highlight that because I think it is cool. I think it is amazing, and I like this philosophy, and I do believe that I by the way, but I can't just fucking, well, let's do it in this way. Unfortunately, what did I want to say? Like, I've always thought like, philosophy is such a piece of shit, and I don't care about philosophical bullshit, and people that are studying philosophy, like what Kant said, like not really, but just by overdoing it, I thought things in that way, or I thought about it in that way, and I gotta have to say, like, philosophy is fucking cool and fucking amazing, because it just gives you a framework and a tool to deal with life, I would say, kind of. Even though it sounds really kind of negative and like whatever, but I think it is cool, Practice misfortune. It is in times of security that the spirit should be preparing itself for difficult times, while fortune is bestowing favors on it. Is the time for it to be strengthened against her rebuffs. Yeah. So which means if you're just having a really good life, live a shitty life. Because if then you're gonna have a shitty life all of a sudden because of various reasons, I don't know, it's not gonna be that bad because you already know what it is like to have a shitty life. Quite. Emotions like anxiety and fear have their roots in uncertainty and rarely in experience. Anyone who has made a big bet on themselves knows how much energy both states can consume. The solution is to do something about that ignorance. Make yourself familiar with things, the worst case scenarios that you're afraid of. Which I think also makes sense. I actually would like to train perception to avoid good and bad. Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. And this is an amazing one. Probably going to be also in the book, I guess. I should. Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you won't be. And you haven't been harmed. By Marcus Aurelius. And I have to say, train the perception to avoid good and bad. There's most often something in between, I guess. But yeah, you only feel bad, or you only are hurt if you feel hurt. And I mean, this is also a very, 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 very incredibly complicated one, and incredibly juicy one as well. Let's think about it. Somebody says something like, okay, you're a fucking asshole. I could be feeling really bad because of that, because I just don't want to be an asshole and I do not want to be perceived as an asshole. On the other hand, I could also be like, I don't give a fuck. And it is a choice that I'm doing or that I'm making. And it is always a choice how I'm reacting to things. Quite. Not really as well, but quite. And this is the problem that I'm having. Let's say something happens I don't know, you lost something. And this makes you unhappy. Of course you can decide to just not feel bad because of that, and also seeing the good. You can decide to do so. But I don't know if it is that easy in a millisecond of time where you can decide that. Quite. The Stoics had an exercise called turning the obstacle upside down. What they meant to do was make it impossible not to practice the art of philosophy. Because if you can properly turn a problem upside down, every bad becomes a new source of good. Turning the obstacle upside down and making it to something good. I like that. Suppose for a second that you're trying to help someone and they respond by being surely or unwilling to cooperate. Instead of making your life more difficult, the exercise says they are actually directing you towards new virtues. For example, patience or understanding, or the death of someone close to you, a chance to show fortitude. What does fortitude mean? Courage, bravery, strength of mind, strength of character. Marcus Aurelius described it like this: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Amazing. Love it. Fucking love it. It should sound familiar because it is the same thinking behind Obama's teachable moments. Right before the election, Joey Klein asked Obama how he would make his decision to respond to the reverent right scandal or something. I don't know. I can't read. He said something like, when the story broke, I realized the best thing to do wasn't damage control. It was to speak to Americans like adults. And what he ended up doing was turning a negative situation into the perfect platform for his landmark speech around race. I like that. The third one, remember, it is all ephemeral, transitory, transient, fleeting, passing, short-lived, momentary. Alexander the Great and his mule driver both died, and the same things happened to both. Whoa, wait, what? No? Alexander the Great, I know this is what I understand, and his mule driver both died, and the same thing happened to both. Yeah, they both died. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself a simple and effective reminder to help him regain perspective and stay balanced. Run down a list of two of those who felt intense anger at something. The most famous, the most unfortunate, the most hated, the most whatever. Where's all that now? Smoke, dust, legend, or not even a legend? Think of all the examples and how trivial the things we want so passionately are. Yeah. Indeed. Just joking. If everything is ephemeral, what does matter? Right now matters. Being a good person, doing the right thing right now. That is what matters, and that is what's so important to the Stoics. And I also believe in that. I also believe in just doing the right thing. Because I believe in doing the right thing. Take Alexander the Great, who conquered the unknown world and had cities named in his honor. This is common knowledge. The Stoics would also point out that once while drunk, Alexander got into a fight with his dearest friend Cleotus and accidentally killed him. Afterward, he was so despondent that he couldn't eat or drink for 3 days. Sophists were called from all over Greece to see what they could do about his grief, to no avail. Yeah, I mean, there's always downsides, isn't there? Take the view from above. How beautifully Plato put it. Whenever you want to talk about people, it is best to take a bird's eye view and see everything all at once. Of gatherings, armies, farms, weddings and divorces, births and deaths, noisy courtrooms or silent spaces. Every 4 eigen people, holidays, memorials, markets, all blended together and arranged in a pairing of opposites. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus would often practice an exercise that is referred to as taking the view from above, or Plato's view. It invites us to take a step back, zoom out and see life from a higher vantage point than our own. The exercise envisioning all the millions and millions of people, all the armies, farms, weddings and divorces, births and deaths, prompts us to take the perspective, and just like the previous exercise, remind us how small we are. It reorientates us, and as Stoic scholar Pierre Handel put it, the view from above changes our value judgments on things. Luxury, power, war, and the worries of everyday life becomes ridiculous. Yes, once we just have everything in perspective. This is why I like to talk about perspective. Thinking about the things that are actually going on in the world and how fortunate we really are. Because we are. If you're having a phone, and if you're just watching this, and if you're seeing this, if you're listening to this, you're already fortunate. I think. Memento mori, meditate on your mortality. Let us prepare our minds as if we would come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. Yeah, quite. Even though, as I said, there's a fundamental problem that I'm having with that. The quotes from Seneca above takes part of the memento mori, the ancient practice of reflecting on mortality that goes back to Socrates, who said that the proper practice of philosophy is about nothing else but dying and being dead. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote that you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. That was a personal reminder to continue living a life of virtue now and not wait. Now I get it. It's not about you. At least this is how I feel about right now. It's not really about you. It is about what other people might think after you've died and you're not having any chance anymore to do anything better. In terms of if you're just either I've never ever got it in the way I should, or yeah, because As I said before, I've always seen it as, okay, it could be my last day, so I'm gonna just take every single drug and whatnot, because it might be my last day. But what I really think about is, how are other people gonna see me, you know? And if I talk about shit and whatnot, people are gonna see me as a fucking bad person. And then when I die, I'm just always gonna be remembered as this bad person, probably. But if I try to be virtual all the time, if I try to be a nice person, if I try to be a good person all the time, there's no way that something like this can happen to me, because I'm always doing that. And by reminding myself of the fact that I might die relatively soon and might not be able to see anybody really soon, I think that it's definitely changing things. I like that. I really do. The sixth one is this within my control? Yeah, can you change it? Little hints, you can't change the fucking weather, so complaining about it and being unhappy about it is just unnecessary. Journal. Epictetus, or Epictetus, I don't know, the slave, Marcus Aurelius the emperor, and Seneca the power broker and playwright. These three radically different men led radically different lives, but they seemed to have one habit in common: journaling. In one form or another, each of them did it. It would be Epictetus who would admonish his students that philosophy was something they should write down day by day, that his writing was how they should exercise themselves. Seneca's favorite time to journal was in the evenings, when darkness had fallen and his wife had gone to sleep. He explained to a friend, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. Then he would go to bed finding that the sleep which follows this self-examination was particularly sweet. And Marcus, he was the most prodigious of journalers, and we are lucky enough that his writings survive to us, appropriately titled whatever, or to himself. The eighth one is practice negative visualization. The premeditatory malorum, the premeditation of evils, is a stoic exercise of imagining things that could go wrong or be taken away from us. It helps us prepare for life's inevitable setbacks. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing this too much, you're gonna be negative. Quite. And the last one is, and then we actually finish up with this article. Amor fati, love everything that happens. The great German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche would describe his formula for human greatness as amor fati, a love of fate. The one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backwards, not in all entirety. Not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it. The Stoics were not only familiar with this attitude, but they embraced it. 2000 years ago, writing in his own personal journal, which would become known as Meditations, Emperor Marcus Aurelius would say, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." Another Stoic, Epictetus, who was a crippled slave, has faced adversity and adversity after adversity, echoed the same. Do not seek for things that happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens the way it happens. Then you will be happy. Which makes sense. This is going to be the last one, because I want to finish up with this one. It's already relatively long, I'd say. But yeah, thank you really much. And I'm probably going to see you the next time. So I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself when you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, and basically means just being a nice person and then also being remembered as a nice person. And with that being said, I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. And 3 questions are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? I'm going to see you. Bye bye.